Welcome to Creating Accessible PowerPoint Templates. This webinar is hosted by NTech and OJJDP. I'm Donna Patrick, a Section 508 specialist, and today I'm here to talk about creating accessible PowerPoint templates. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create, save, and open a PowerPoint template that, when used by PowerPoint presentation authors, will result in a more accessible presentation. For information on making a presentation accessible, please see our Creating Accessible PowerPoint Documents video. Creating a presentation seems simple. Just follow the directions on the layout slides. Add a title here, add content here, add text or images or charts or graphs. However, sometimes presentation authors want a variety in their slides. Maybe they want an extra container, maybe they want to remove a container and make the existing one larger. When they do this, they're at risk of creating inaccessible presentations. This is where templates come into play. Now we're going to step away from this presentation and I'm going to demonstrate how to create an accessible PowerPoint presentation. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do to create a PowerPoint presentation, an accessible PowerPoint template, is to click on File, then click on New, and then click on Blank Presentation. So this will open just a regular, typical presentation. But we're not going to actually work in this slide. We're going to work in the master slide view. So to get there, you click on View, the View tab, and then you click on Master Slide in the Master View section. So what happens now, we are now in the Master Slide view. This is where we can make changes in the template, and it will just change the way all the slides look. So let's go ahead and we're going to click on the topmost slide. This is kind of like the brain for the rest of the slides. This is where you can change. This is the largest slide at the top of your list. Anything you change here will change any of your layout slides below. But you have to be on this layout. I forget all the time. A lot of times I start making my changes here, and then I've only made the changes for this particular slide. So I need to be in the master title slide view in order to make changes that will affect all of the slides. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to think about the look and feel of your presentation. How do you want it to look? So the first thing you can do is you can select a theme, which is in the Edit Theme section, and you would click on Themes. And right now this presentation is just using the regular old Office theme that's on my computer. But you can click any of these themes. But a word of caution, you don't want a theme that has a pattern background because it might be hard for people to see the text against the background. You don't want something with images, like this slide, feathered. It's lovely, but it might be really hard to read the text if there's text over those images. You also don't want something with a real gradient because that might cause problems with contrast. You also don't want anything with a texture or pattern background, as I mentioned. So I am actually going to just stick with this presentation. Now it doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to just be those colors with a white background, because I can go over here and I can change the background style. Now in this background styles, it's in the background section. Background styles, you've got a few styles that you can choose from. I would suggest one of the top styles up here, and what's really cool about this, and this is what I really recommend using this background styles, is that the font color changes depending on whether it's a light background or a dark background. So if you look at the style 1, which is a white background, you notice that the color is black. The text color is black. The gray, it's black as well. But if you, now if we go over to a darker background, look, it changes to a white. So this really helps keep the contrast perfect. It's really good. It makes the contrast. Somebody who has low vision can easily see what's on that screen. And the black one also, you've got the white text. So I think I'm going to go with the gray. I think I'll just go with the gray right now. So another thing you could actually do, although you have to be really careful, is in the background styles, there is an option to format the background. And if you click on that, on the right-hand side of your workspace is a format background panel. And there are different ways you could fill, different things you could fill. You could have a solid fill. There are options for a gradient or a picture or a pattern fill, but those are not good because, as I said earlier, it might cause a problem with the contrast. It'll be too busy. It just will be too difficult to actually see the text. And for some people, it might be a real hardship. So I'm just keeping the color at this gray color. I just want to also say that when you change this color, if you decided you didn't want this exact shade of gray, you still wanted a light color, I would stick with the lighter colors because then you're still going to have that black font. If you choose a darker color and if you have the black font, like if I decided to choose green, it's going to be really hard for some people to read. It's kind of hard for almost anybody to read. So I'm not going to choose that color. I'm going to just back up there. So I'm going to stick with this gray. I kind of like this gray, so I'll close that. So now if you feel like you need to add a logo, suppose your agency feels like you do need a logo, you want to make sure that you can put it somewhere so it's out of the way so you don't have to do a lot of messing with the text boxes because you don't want any text to cover it. And because again, we're talking about the contrast, some of that letter or some of that text might be hard to see. But let's say we do want to have a logo. And I will. So what you do is you're still on the biggest slide at the top. So I'm going to insert. I'm going to go to pictures in this device, and I'm going to choose this logo. So this is going to be the company logo. Let's put this down here. Okay. So you already see there's a problem that if you choose to keep this footer down here, this date, you already see that it's going to either be behind the logo or on top of the logo, and you won't be able to read that date. So that could be a problem. So so if you want to keep, and so notice that every single one of these slides now has that company logo. So if you do need the logo, that's how you do it. You put it in the master slide. Also, what you want to do is you want to give that logo alt text, which will tell a screen reader, which is what a blind person uses to use their computer and to access the internet. It will read it to them. So let's just say company logo. So now that image will have alt text on all of the slides. So the next thing we're going to talk about is another thing that you can change up here in the big slide, the brain of all the slides, is you can change the fonts. If you don't like the font that is being used, this is just using Calibri Light, that's kind of the typical Microsoft Office font for the version of the PowerPoint that I have. But you can choose to Arial. You can choose any one of these actually in this selection, the content would be easily read. I'm just going to stick with Calibri Light, or I could just go to Calibri instead. So I've changed it to Calibri. So I've changed this a little bit. So now everything in here will have that font. If you want to change the color of the titles, then you can do the same thing. You can highlight the title and right-click on that, and you can change it to whatever, change it to a dark color again. You don't want it. You don't want it to be, light. You want to make sure that it's going to have high contrast. So we could change it like to a dark blue, or if we wanted to match our company logo, maybe a dark purple. I don't like that one. I'm going to just stick with the black, I think. But you can change the color just to make sure that the contrast is good. And so what that would do, that would change any of the title slides. It would change their color. I caution against changing the color of your text just for the same reason. You probably don't want to have, you don't want bad contrast. So I would change this color, because this is also, might be shown to a group of people in a room, and you want really good contrast for that as well. Another thing is I have noticed that sometimes the footers, they want to kind of be hidden, and so sometimes their font is a different color. And so what you want to do, just make sure that your footer color is, if you have a footer color, say I wanted to have the name of the company here. I want to have the company name. This is not a very, this doesn't contrast really well, this color down here. It does not contrast well at all. So I would want to make this probably black as well. So I'm going to just choose black for that. So then now this footer, if you choose to have it on the bottom of every page, will be black. Because I'm going to have my logo here, I'm probably going to be removing all of these dates. We'll keep the number, the page number, because it's nice to know what slide we're on. This too, you might want to just make sure that you've got a dark color and not a light color, so people can see what page or what slide it's on. So the one thing I wish that would happen on these slides is I wish that this slide would also control how many footers are at the bottom, but it doesn't. So if I took this footer off, they're still going to be on the rest of these pages. But I will be able to put company name there automatically. So that's a good thing. So so that's it for this. That's it. Pretty much everything. There's everything that the master titles, the master slide does. So now we're going to go on to layout slides. So if you remember, this slide, these slides are going to look very familiar because you see them all the time. They just have different titles, different directions. So this says click to edit master title style instead of click to edit title. So again, you can change this if you want. And then the first slide of the presentation that your authors will make will show, the people will see when they look at your presentation, will be whatever color you want this to be if you want it to have a different font. But I suggest not to do that. I suggest to stay really consistent. So this one, so let's say that your authors, you're thinking your authors, yeah, this is the typical slide that everybody sees at the beginning of a presentation. But say your authors want to make it a little different. They want to be a little bit more creative. Well, they could add some text boxes in the PowerPoint presentation itself, but that's going to mess with some reading order. That's going to mess with accessibility. So what you want to do is give them the option just to have it. It's a slide. It's right there. You can use this one instead. So instead of editing this, because some people might want to have your regular old everyday PowerPoint title slide, what you can do is you can right-click on the slide that's in view, and you can duplicate it. So let's right-click on it, and we click Duplicate Layout. There, you've got two slides exactly alike. So this one I'm going to play with. This one I'm going to change the look and feel. So let's say that we want to put the subtitle there, and we want to put the title here, maybe move it up a bit. So just if you click on the box, on the content holder, the placeholder, you'll see these different little dots, and those are little grab things. And you can grab it, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can move it, and then you could, I think we can, not that. You just click on that and you can just move it up or you can move it down. So you can play with it. You can make it look the way you want it to look. And as I said earlier, I think what I want to do is get rid of these dates. So in this case, I can just delete them. I'm going to hit delete, the delete key on my keyboard, and it just disappears. If you want this to say company name at the bottom, you don't have to type that every time. You can just click footers here, and it will. So you may want to keep company name at the bottom of every one of these footers, and you may want to get rid of the date. So I'm going to highlight the box, and I'm going to hit delete. Now, in order to get company name at the bottom of the slides easily without having to type it all the time and have it exactly in the same place, then you would delete the footer that's here, and then you would go up to your ribbon in the master layout, and it says footers is clicked, but you want you to click footers again. And when you do that, then whatever you had on that first slide will show up. So, so what you want to do is you want to think what kinds of slides, what kind of placeholders the people in your company, the people in your organization might want to have. So you can do the same thing. You can go down to the slide that is, it's called title. Oh, actually, I'm going to back up here. Here, what you want to do is you need to rename it. So this one says, this one's called like a title slide layout. And if you hover over it, there'll be a pop-up that'll say what it's called. This one is title slide layout with a 1 in front of it. So let's just change this a little bit. So let's change the title here. Let's change this to, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename it to title, let's say alternate title slide. And then that's what it'll be called when you look at your layout slides. So let's go here now, and let's decide. Let's say somebody wants to have kind of look like this one, and so I want to have the title on. I want to have the title on this side, and then the content here. And then I want to get rid of this, and get rid of this, and then add the company name again. So you can change the size of your placeholders. You can change the location of your placeholders, and so that will be another one. So this one. So suppose you think that some of your authors might want to have the title on the side and the content on the other side, the title on the left, the content on the right. So again, we're going to duplicate this slide because some people might want to have the regular old way of doing it. And so you want to duplicate the slide and then change the format however you want it to look. Remember, you can change the size by dragging the the little dots and putting it where you'd like it to be. And then just drag it around, move it around. You can get rid of things in your footer. You can change this so it says company name. And so forth. So we want to rename this. We can call it alternate. And so you can just keep doing that. You can change the way things look. Now, suppose I want a slide that has room for pictures. Suppose I want to have pictures of people and underneath them pictures of their names underneath them. So there is a slide down here that is a picture. Here it is. It's a picture and a caption. And actually it's called picture with caption layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. And this time I am going to add a placeholder because we're going to now talk about inserting placeholders. So I duplicated it, and let's say I want to, let's say we want to have the title go all the way across, and we want the let's say we want the caption under the picture. And so what we can do is we can copy and paste. We can copy and paste. And so if we copy this, we copy it, and then we can paste it over here, and then just move it. And so we can do the same with this one. We can copy it, and then paste it. And then we could add another one if we wanted to do that too. And then let's call this two picture. Rename it, so two picture with caption. Okay, so now let's say that we wanted to start with a blank slide. So we'll duplicate the blank slide. We're going to duplicate it, and let's just add things to it. So to do that, you go up to insert placeholder, and there's a whole bunch of things you can add. Now the content screen, this is the one that you see on most of your layouts. So this one, if we click this and we added something, this would add the style, the master text styles, and this would add text, and this would add, you could add a chart or an image or anything. So this is the one you see on most of your slide layouts. But let's say we didn't want that. Let's say we just wanted just text. So here we just want some text. And let's say, I don't know, we want text there. And let's say we just want, I don't know, maybe we want a table. So people can only add a table here. So you can have text and you can have a table. So if you click on that, you'll get a table, and then maybe this will describe the table. So you can just add all sorts of things to your slides. So you can, there are all sorts of things you can add. You can add just a picture. You can add just a picture to your slide. And then, so you won't have all those different options, so this will be a page that has just a picture or just a table or even just text. So, so there would be nothing else on that page. And so this one, I'm just going to get rid of the picture. So we can just call this table layout. They're going to rename it. Right now it says blank because that was just a blank page. Actually, one thing I'd forgotten to do, which is really important for accessibility, is you need to make sure there's a title for every single page you have. So let's just make sure. Let's give this this will just have text up here. And so yes, just make sure you've got a title for that. For every page. So, and it looks, one thing to remember is you always need to have a title. So if you, for accessibility, you always need to have a title on your slide. So the thing you don't want to use is the blank slide, and you don't want to duplicate that, and you probably don't want to delete it, but you don't want to use that. So we've got the, so let's take the blank slide with just a title, the title only slide. And let's say that we want to start adding some things to this, some things that they're not, you don't have any options to add any of these, or there are no options here. So let's say we want a slide with just a table, or a slide with a table and a picture, and that's the only thing that your authors can use this particular slide for. So let's duplicate this one again, and you can go up here to insert placeholder. So instead of choosing content, which gives you the option to add all sorts of things, let's say you really want people only, this page can only have a table. So let's just click table, and then you can just add the content. So this page, will only hold a table. If you want to do another one where they can only have a picture, and okay, just want to show you what I just did. So instead, I'm going to redo that one. There are two things you can insert. So you can click on any one of these, and it's exactly the same thing as duplicate a layout. So if I am on this title only slide, and I can either, if I click duplicate a layout, I will get the same layout. If I click insert a layout, I will get the same layout. So either way, it doesn't matter. So but I am going to go back. Let's duplicate this layout. So let's say that we want to have a slide that's only a chart. The only thing on this page can be a chart, and a chart and the title, of course, and then you can add that. So that's it for adding placeholders, moving them around. You can do all sorts of things. You can make all sorts of different kinds of slides just by either duplicating and rearranging the content holders or the placeholders, or you can just start from scratch and start with one that has a title, and then just add placeholders. Okay, so that's it for inserting placeholders, and that's it for actually working in the master view. But the one thing we do have to think about, and that is whether or not those slides that we added, whether or not they have the correct reading order. So let's just, now we're going to close the master view. We're not going to work in master view anymore unless we need to move things around. But we're going to close, we're done with the master view. And now we need to check the layout. So let's go ahead and check, I'm going to check a layout that, let's just check this one because this is a default layout. So we need to check the reading order. And so here we have what we do to do that. And reading order, again, is what a screen reader user will hear when they're using their screen reader. This is the order that the slide will be read in. So you click on the Arrange icon. It's on the Drawing section. And then you go down to Selection pane. And on the right, you'll get the Selection pane. And it's kind of silly, but it goes from the bottom up. So the slide title, the title number 1, is going to be the first thing read. And then the subtitle is the second thing read. So if you click on these, you can see that it's highlighted. And the title 1 will be read. And if you click on this, then the subtitle will be read. And this is in the correct order. It's bottom up. So let's look at a layout that we created, or that we played around with. Let's try let's see, we did this one. Okay, so here's the alternate title slide, or the alternate content slide. So here's the title, and the title's in the correct order. It's in the bottom. And here's the click to add text, and that is the second, that is on top, which means it's the second thing to be read. Now let's do one that I know is going to be messed up, and it's because we added things to it. Let's go down to the two pictures with captions. So the title slide is read first. That's the title slide. And then I would expect, when I read this, I would expect to, if I'm a screen reader user, to hear the title, and then the picture, and then maybe a description of the picture, and then the caption of that picture. And then I would hear this, and then I would hear this, and if we had more, this and this. So let's take a look and see what our reading order is, in fact. So the title would be read first. That's good. This picture would be read second. Oh, well, okay. This actually worked out fine too. But if this was not in order, suppose when this was added, so we've got a title, and then this, we expect this to be read next, and that's read next, and then this comes next, and so we're not hearing the title, or we're not hearing the caption. So what you do is you just highlight the content that is not being read in order, and you just use these little up and down arrows. So we just want to move that down, so now it's in order: title, picture, caption, and then picture, and then caption again. So you just have to make sure, just check all the slides and make sure that they're in order. And then you want to go back to the title slide, because now we're going to save it. Now we're going to save this as a template. And it would be, if we saved it as a template like this, then this is the first thing people would see, and you don't want that. So when they open it up, you want it to look like just a regular old PowerPoint, empty PowerPoint presentation that they can add things to. So what we're going to do is, and so also we have made sure that we closed the slide master view. So we closed that. That's important, and we need to make sure that we are on the title slide. So then we want to go back to File, and we want to go back to New. No, I'm sorry, we don't want to do that. We'll go to File, and then we want to go to Save As. So it's Save As, because we're not going to save it as a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to save it as a template. So then you click this PC, and the default is PowerPoint presentation, but we're going to change that. So this is going to use the drop down, and we're going to go down to PowerPoint template, and we'll click that, and then magically it's taken to the correct place. So the correct place is your C drive, users, whatever your name is on that computer, and then a custom office template. And that's where that's where this template's going to live. And it'll be good because then that's where you're going to be able to find it. So then let's name this. Let's name this template our company template. Now we know it's our company's template, and we're going to save this, and then let's close it, and then let's go. Now let's say we want to find it. Now we want to make a presentation using that template. So we go to let's go back here. We go to File. We go to New, and then here under New, there is there's an office templates, and then you've got personal templates. And so here's where your personal templates live. And so we named this one our company template. You click on the icon, and then you click Create, and there you have your template all ready to use. And so people would fill this out, and then you can have a new slide, and the new slide would be you can change the layout of the new slide, and you can just keep going. If you want to have one of the slides you created, let's see, we created the 2-picture with captions, so then that will be the next one. And then, all they have to do is add content. And one thing you want to tell them is don't change the font color, because that can cause problems with accessibility, and don't add new text boxes. Because that could cause a problem with reading order. I'm not going to save that. So here are some resources, really good resources. Microsoft tutorials, that's where I got my information when I was learning how to do this. Section 508.gov has an entire page on how to create accessible presentations. I don't believe there's anything there specifically about templates, but it also gives you a lot of good information about how to create accessible presentations, which you can give to to the people making the PowerPoint presentations, to make sure that they don't mess with the template that you just created. Please take a few minutes to review the disclaimer here. Thank you for attending today's training.